First of all, the big question, who do you think won out the most in that last night?
I think there seemed to be a clear winner last night, and Nick Clegg was the guy to do that. And I think what's come back in sort of feedback today through the media has sort of proven that to be the case. I think it's a simple situation from Nick Clegg's point of view. It's a very simple position to be in. I've been in the same position as leading an opposition at Stoke-on-Trent Council, and for Nick Clegg to do what he did last night, he doesn't really have to come up with anything himself. What he does have to do is knock the other two parties, and it's and I've used that on several occasions to just say how bad you are, really not how good I am, but how bad you are.
So obviously last night, all three of the parties, like you said, they've had their say, but you obviously have big views yourself, and so do other parties that weren't represented last night. So do you think that it's fair that the three main parties do get to have this extra coverage on television?
No, I don't actually. I mean, I think people have been disillusioned over the years with politicians and politics in general, and I think that's where we've gained as an independent registered party, and people like the BNP and other small sort of factions have, let's say, wormed their way into politics, where really the three mainstream parties don't like that. They don't really want us here at all to muddy the waters. But fortunately, on a local level, not on a national level, but on a local level, we've been able to give residents a better lifestyle and more improvements in their life, because we've been able to fight for the underdog that I said Nick Clegg was doing last night. And that's very, very important, because unless you have the opportunity to shake up the three major parties, we have a complacent system, as we always did in Stoke-on-Trent. For maybe 65 years or whatever, Stoke-on-Trent had 60 council seats, and all 60 were Labour seats. So that creates a stability for the party, which they enjoy, but it's not good for the people outside, and the actual residents within our city really suffer from complacency then. You will find that only in a situation like that, only a handful of people run the show, probably the cabinet, and the rest of the councillors have very little input into the system. We hopefully have broken that system down somewhat, and it's proven to be that way, because the City Independents group, irrespective of people like Mick Temple and others constantly bleating on about who the largest parties are, and always ignore the actual fact that the City Independent group are the largest party in Stoke-on-Trent Council, and have taken part of the administration now. They've been the largest party for quite a while, and that just proves that people do want and look for an alternative.
So, as you said, you yourself think that it isn't particularly fair that these three get the mainstream and everything, and people are looking for an alternative. But how much of an impact do you think what they said will have on the election? Do you think that the election debates are going to have a big impact, or is it just another small thing to help with their campaign?
No, I think you're right. I think it's pretty generic. It helps with the campaign. It's any politician can use sort of generic statements. Would you like to live in a greener city? You're not going to say no. You're going to say yes. Would you like a fairer taxation system? Of course you would. You know, would you like a healthier city? Of course you would. And you can go on. Would you like a good education? Of course you would. I mean, it's pretty generic. You are not going to get anyone to tick the no box on anything like that. So as a politician, you can stand there all day and give people what they want to hear. And mainstream parties are pretty clued up on that system. It's a psychological system that they use, and they use it at will and whenever possible to try and sway a voter towards them. One of the things that seems to have become more interesting is we seem to have gone into the personality stakes now, as well as what the taxation system is, education system and all the other things, housing and everything else. We seem to have gone into the Americanized personality system where people, and I suppose when we watch television, we think of things like reality TV, and we look at X Factor, and the millions of people vote. Millions of people vote. We have a struggle getting people out to vote in local elections and general elections, but people will vote on reality TV in their millions, which seems to be very strange. And I think, obviously, the mainstream parties have tapped into that. They've looked into the sort of Americanized system, tapping into those 60 million people that you have in Great Britain and using that to their own advantage. So now you don't really need a Prime Minister that is possibly good on policy and all the other things that you would need. What you do need is a slick guy with an Armani suit, silk tie, which I haven't got on today, but a silk tie, and be able to stand there and tell the people what they want to hear. That's why you see so many sort of reality stars like Simon Cowell achieve great fame. And politicians are trying to latch onto that and do exactly the same thing now.
So that brings me on to the whole format of the show last night. Like you say, in a way, perhaps these debates are trying to bring shows like X Factor to the forefront a bit. But what a lot of people have complained about with the format last night is the fact the audience weren't allowed to get involved in it, and also the fact that there wasn't really that much debating, according to some people. It all seemed very polished and rehearsed. What do you think about that?
I think it was polished and rehearsed. It's a media system, isn't it? That, we want to put a television programme on that really wasn't very entertaining. We find programmes like Question Time much more entertaining because there's that interaction with the people. And that's one of the things I find very, very strange, that mainstream leaders of major political parties want to stand there and talk at the audience rather than having any interaction, when really what they would say, if you were to speak to them on a personal level, we need to interact with the people in the street. We need to talk to Mondeo man and the average guy in the street. But really they don't want to do that. They want to stand in an organised way with an audience that they can talk at but not be questioned.